Welcome back, ladies and gents, and things are starting to get a little bit spicy here in Katowice as we get down to business once again in the duos. We're down to our penultimate game of the day. Just 2 more rounds to go here before we know how the standings are ahead of our 7 rounds of duos action tomorrow. Before we get into our next game, though, we want to highlight one of the top European talents we have in the tournament, and his name is Mota.
Let's start with my biggest strength. My strength is rotating to zone extremely fast and trying to look for opportunities where I can shoot enemies. Well, it's mainly just trying to survive for late game and get the most points out of it. My biggest weakness right now is the late game nerfs that I will get, because whenever it's late game and there's like a few people left and I will get the pressure by that I have a chance to win a lot of money, which will probably make me point blank and make my aim really bad. You get better at Fortnite, like mechanically wise, you just have to play creative, playground, or just play pubs to increase your mechanics. And if you want to play creative, play against someone that's on your higher level. For example, I play against Mitro, which really helps me a lot. But if you want to like get better at scrims, you have to play a lot of Atlantis scrims or like get customs to get the best possible practice you can ever get. I don't actually have a training routine. I get whatever I can find, I will do it. For example, if there's customs that I can use to play with the best people in the world, I will immediately switch to customs. But if I don't have them, for example, I will just play scrims. And if the scrims are getting really bad, I will play creative to increase my mechanic and aim. The most important aspect of the game, I think in every game, the most important thing is having a good mentality and don't be scared of anything. If you have a right mentality, you can do actually everything and learn really fast.
Absolutely love that interview there from Mota. Some of the things that go into being one of the top players in the world, and some fantastic advice there. One thing that I particularly like, always be trying to play with players that are above your level so that you can improve yourself.
It's not easy to learn how to improve your own gameplay if you're not being beat yourself. If you're always the best, you're never really going to get better. I like that quite a bit from him. I also like the idea of the mentality, going into the matches, going into a tournament, going into scrims with the right mentality. Going into a match that you know, oh yeah, it's just another Thursday, 5th game of the day, whatever. But trying to learn something, really, you know, trying to take that as a tournament-setting match and then using that, obviously, when you get to these big dog games.
Every game is practice. Every game, when they're out here playing at their hardest, everything's going into their brains and they're absorbing as much information as they can. And you always want to prepare yourselves as much as possible. What I like to do before a LAN is to mix up my setup, be a little bit hard, be a bit lower, kind of always throw yourselves curveballs because you never know what could be unexpected.
And of course, welcome to the desk, gentlemen, I should say as well. Jason Kaplan and Zacubus, great to have you 2 gentlemen back joining us here. 6th game of the day we have coming up, just 2 more rounds to go. We are seeing a couple of players get a little bit of a lead here as we see our duo standings coming up. Vinny and Zexro. I mean, Vinny's having a fantastic time here in Poland. He really couldn't be having a better day, or better couple of days, should I say. But a little bit of a gap there. But as we are seeing go down there, a lot of these teams, a lot of these duos staying very tightly contested. And with so many more games to come tomorrow, I just imagine that a lot of these top teams around this top 10, top 15 are going to be looking for placing points right now over eliminations.
Yeah, and I think we're also seeing, you know, like the mentality of a team coming into a 2-day tournament, you know, instead of just a 1-day where you have to play that last match, right? You can go into this one, like you said, play for placings, try to get some extra points in there, and then kind of spend this night looking at like what you did right and what you did wrong. Looking over your own VODs, looking over if they're streaming themselves, what they did there, looking over the cast as well, so they get a general idea of how everyone is playing as well.
Yeah, get as much information as possible, learn as much about your enemies when you come into a tournament like this. Any little bit of information goes a massive, massive way. And
that's the thing, isn't it? Something that we haven't kind of touched on, the opportunity to go away after a day of fierce competition here in the duos and sit back and watch the rebroadcast. Maybe look at where some of the other duos are landing. Maybe mix up your own game. Look at some of the things that are being used in this Season 8 update that you haven't maybe recognized yourself as yet. It's such a huge opportunity for these guys to learn so much before coming back tomorrow, where we really get down to business.
Can I bring up a topic for us to discuss really quickly? Is that allowed? Is that cool?
Go on, you do it.
All right. So, well, I was going to do it anyway, so I didn't really care what you said. I think that I want to talk about is 7SSK7 and Jamside. Have yet to take a Victory Royale, just like Vinny was unable to do in the solos yesterday. But they've shown how important it is in late game, in very, very late game, to maintain high ground position. because they haven't been able to take a victory, and yet they're currently placed number 4 off of placements and off these eliminations. And we've seen a lot of teams try to contest these high grounds. We've seen a lot of rocket launchers being shot up there to knock people down, which was successful against them before, but they're really putting so much importance on that.
They've been playing real tough, real tough, and they've been dropping Paradise, which isn't an easy starting ground. There are 3 teams landing at Paradise, including themselves there, but things will be kicking off pretty shortly, I think.
Well, it looks like things will be kicking off even shorter than that. They're kicking off now, Zach.
Oh, no.
Round number 6 is underway. As you can see here, the bus is ready. The players are jumping out. They'll find their landing spots. Gentlemen, it's over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. And yes, something I wanted to bring up, Zakibus, as we get underway here with this match is about these drop locations, right? We've seen over the course of today a lot of action happening in Tilton, obviously with Aiden and Nick Merckx, as you expect. But for me, it's been more about looking at Vitality players, Kilos and Maxalibur, because they were going Tilted before, and then they started to change things up when they realized this is not working for us. We are not being successful in this location, and they switched up over to Lonely Lodge as well. So we're seeing like these changes come in, which I think is something we're going to see almost out of every team over the course of these last 2 matches, and of course tomorrow.
Sure. Unfortunately, I don't think it's been going too well for them when they've been landing Lonely Lodge, though. I think they've been actually getting eliminated by Myth and Cloud.
So change it up again, then I guess we'll see.
Or maybe they committed and tried again and tried again. We don't know. Myth and Cloud, funny enough, in the last game, didn't get too far.
Well, we can see here Animal and Aspect going to be going up to Snobby Shores. We're going to be separating across this location. Won't have anyone in the near vicinity at the moment, so not too big of a deal for them as they're going to be able to farm up here and look relatively good as we progress through into this round.
This is the Liquid Poach Beehive Coffee sort of fight happening in Pleasant Park. This has happened multiple times already, Jason, and it's been pretty bad for Beehive right now and Coffee. They've been losing the majority of the fights in the last 2 games, so they really need to step it up.
Well, we can see here a lot of already action happening as Rizart, who've the 2 Japanese players here with Llama have been having a rough start. Now we see Hupek and Skix going to be going over towards Tilted Towers as Nick Merckx already able to take down Hupek off the bat, and they've had a very, very rough duo tournament for them, and Hupek will eventually be finished off.
Wax just farming up to the building here, just trying to get some many mats as he can. Crazy Llama wants to push this aggressively. We saw him landing retail yesterday a lot, pretty much their favorite drop here, and Nick off. Oh no, Rizart has to be careful as he gets ganked from behind here, I believe. But slowly takes the high ground, plays it a little bit safe. And Airwax is getting... No, he's fine. Sorry. I misread that situation.
It's fine.
Completely.
Thing is, I bet even sometimes they misread the situations quite a bit as they have to switch things up. And again, information is always going to be key when coming into these battles. And speaking of information, Fa in History are trying to get aggressive here, looking for a very early fight. Tack shotgun in the hands of History, so he's going to be the one leading the charge in. They do have this high ground position. A lot of materials as well here, Zakibus, being expended out of both teams.
Yeah, they want to commit to this fight as much as possible, get the elim, and also get those mats, which will pop out of your opponent as you get the win. But let's see how they handle this. Good tack shotgun coming in, pressuring the side here, but really his teammates focusing both sides here, I believe.
Let's go for a little bit of a pincer move here, which we've seen work over the course of today so many times. As far he's got his own tack shotgun again. They're trying to replace these walls here. He does eventually close the distance. Tixi going to be knocked down, and they can potentially finish this off. And that looks almost all too easy here for the 2 Brazilians.
Very, very interesting. The Brazilians actually told me that they were committed to landing Paradise and fighting it, but obviously change of plans yet again, and they've been having some great success. I think that's the 2nd time they've eliminated that team at Salty Springs too.
Well, we can see here Miz and Jules. And Jules actually take his own victory out in solos yesterday. If you missed out on that match, they have a rift to go, and not much more beyond that here, Zakibus. I'm assuming they're not going to be too confident with the loadout they do have, but luckily for them, there's not a lot of action in their location. Now, Kaiser and Magan up against Myth and Cloud, and you can see Myth already trying to rotate around. He actually takes the vent here, and I think they're trying to just disengage this fight, give this location up.
But where's Cloud? Is he already down?
I want to say he's already taken it.
No, he's actually pretty safe.
Yeah, I think he was actually like right next to him up towards the north as they both did take that vent and escape. So the Atlantis pair here have been able to lock down this position. Obviously going to be farming up quite a bit here, but I respect that play out of Myth and Cloud. Every game counts.
Oh, of course, and they've been playing very well together actually this tournament. It's a kind of a surprise because Myth hasn't performed at all, but he's really stepping up to the plate now.
Oh yeah, both
as
of them.
All the American teams are. They're really performing and really grinding up this leaderboard.
I'm curious to see how he does tomorrow as well, this duo, because they have been getting consistently better as the day's been going on. Yes, they have been eliminated a little bit earlier on in some prior games, but they've been looking good. Llama already going to be knocked down. Rizart not going to be by himself in a 1-on-2 situation up against the Twins, and This is almost just not fair when you're playing against the telepathic players from Renegades here in Australia. And they will close this out and take their eliminations.
Telepathic synergy there coming in from the Australians. Very, very well played as we switch over to Tilted Towers here. And of course, we've got Aiden, Nick Merckx, and oh, Aries just dropped into the equation. Straight onto Aries with Noad and pushing the equation. And he's managed to escape Aiden. Quick running, quick get into the top of Trump Tower there.
I think that's Nick Merckx off to the side trying to help out. Actually, no, it's another team. It's the Fax Fox crew with Aim Hero from Korea trying to help them out here. So a little bit of an awkward fight between 5 players.
Yeah, Aiden, I think he's on his own there, right? Where's Nick? Is he
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Was he eliminated? We don't see him on the screen. I'm looking at our spiffy little tablet. I don't see him in the activity feed either. So he actually is alive, and he does have an elimination. He's just not really in vicinity as he's looking to actually close this distance now, maybe trying to flank in from the side.
I think he almost had an angle there onto Aries, but missed the opportunity, and Aries now just turtling up on the side. And we have an action coming in from Aiden as he pushes onto Noad. They're having a bit of an edit fight right here in the staircase. Can get a little bit awkward with those edits there.
And we can see Jules and Miz, they're already able to take down Excalibur, and Keyless is going to fall as well here in a second. Won't be able to get much off of that. Aries has knocked himself down.
Oh, falling down.
I honestly feel like whenever someone jumps off and takes themselves out of the fight, Myth should be paid royalties every time.
I think he should. I mean, rightfully so. He's coined the phrase.
And we did actually have history go down to Smeef. So Milan and Smeef, that's not someone we really talked about a ton, Zacubus, today. We haven't really been able to talk about them in a great light just because they haven't been performing too well. But they still have that potential. Smeef was doing great in solos yesterday. Milan, we know him as being this prodigy, but he hasn't really hit his peak just yet. But again, being a young player, being 16, playing on a stage in front of an audience, it's a lot of different pressure on you, especially when you don't have your own potato PC here to play on.
Or
potato laptop, I guess I should say.
Very true. And as you can see, Milan is already down, and Smeef having to do all the hard work by himself. And it's going to be very difficult for the Brit to actually get in some action here.
So I think Smeef actually took down History, and then Fa took down Milan. So they're actually having now a 1v1 as the conclusion of this battle should be eventually finishing off here. As you can see, Smeef going to be on the higher position. In the meantime, the X2 boys did chime in with another elimination themselves, and Smeef, he will fall. Fa is going to come out the victor, but he still will be by himself here in a world of hurt with so many players left alive.
That pump just did massive damage. I believe he was on like 180 HP there. Absolutely destroyed there. Smeef going to be a little bit annoyed, I guess, but got to move with the punches.
I think for those 2 players who are so young, obviously they're not out of this entire tournament just yet. There's still a chance they can make their way up the rankings. But I think it's a good learning experience for them. You know, Zacubus, if you think back to the first tournament that you ever played in, you know, in front of a crowd, it was just a big learning experience in general, just to kind of control your emotions when it comes to playing on a stage, controlling those nerves as well. Next 2 boys again clean up another elimination, and really excited to see what they can do over the course of the rest of today and of course tomorrow.
Me too. I really hope the Australian boys really kick it up into gear. I want to see them perform. I want to see, you know, Korea do well. Obviously Australia, all the underdogs that are currently unknown really and not have much action, but this is huge! They shoot out the quad bike. Oh, Nick Merckx. Oh, Bowman, Alpha gone from just a split second. One mistake going on the quad.
That is a little bit unfortunate for them. And that's the downside of using the quad crasher. We saw the quad and we saw the crash.
Absolutely huge from Nick Merckx. Oh my God, that was insane. Just at the right time. I don't think that the Na'Vi boys knew where they were down in the river and just risked going for that rotation. But they got absolutely beamed.
So now I'm wondering with Poach here, where is Vivid? I'm not sure if he was eliminated early on or if he's in just the near vicinity of his motor. And Eric Triceps now looking to potentially pull off a 2v1, which obviously would work very well for them. Keep in mind, as we can see here, Nick Merckx did not get credit for those, by the way.
Did he not? Surely he did.
According to this, he did not get credit. And from what I saw in the activity feed, he didn't get credit either, even though I did see a little bit of damage in there. Maybe didn't hit the final shots or something, but no credit being given to them, so they don't get the extra 10 points, which is kind of a shame for them. But nonetheless, a great job of them to take 2 of their opponents out of the rest of this round.
Mitra and Kuna pushing in aggressive with those stinks, putting the pressure on their opponents. Good stuff. Oh, I think he just hit himself there. Has to rotate a little bit. Mitra, a little bit of a mistake there.
Teofsky. If you guys haven't seen the clip from him yesterday, make sure to check that one out. That was a sight to be seen, and I actually got to talk to him at a party last night, and he obviously was very, very upset with what happened, but he laughed it off. He had a good time with it. But if they get pushed here and they get eliminated, I can hear the Niets coming out of him another time.
I mean, you just got to own it. I mean, he did the cannonball roll out on the
That was
stage.
great. That was fantastic. That was definitely one of the greatest things I've seen today when it came to the intros. Kuna and Mitro, 0 eliminations. They have a rift. They have some good weaponry as well to use here in this situation. Obviously, they want to be able to secure these because they're looking fairly good in the standings overall. So if you're Tarkovsky and Nero, you have to respect them here. And speaking of that, that's going to be Tarkovsky going to be knocked down as well as Nero. And that was, again, just a pretty clean sweep here.
It was no problem for the Atlantis boys there. Mitro and Kuna doing excellent work, really putting the pressure on, keeping those Polish players locked into that box and not making them move or have any escapes very quickly. And it was very nicely done, Jason.
Funk Bomb with the dynamite being thrown in. I think that did some decent damage to 0-7, knocking a majority, if not all, of his shield out. Do have the Vic Black Shoe going to be out of this round as well, just to kind of give you a quick little update what's been going around the map.
Yeah, Little J and Zero just setting up near Nate and Funk Bomb. Funk Bomb having a little look over there just to check out what's going on. And most teams will be kind of settling up down in the south region here as it goes over Paradise, the zone.
Oh, Shinken going to be by himself now as he was the winner of Game 3. Going to be a tough battle for him with his back up against the wall, but luckily the attention isn't towards him. You can see Aspect and Anima going for the chase onto Airwax. Sneak up trying to provide some sort of cover from the high ground, but he's being shot as well here from a third party. It's just a big skirmish breaking down. Got a couple of clingers trying to be thrown in as well, trying to look for some early damage. You can see Nikov just trying to protect himself. The problem is Airwax is by himself. Nikov has to be here to support his teammate.
Yeah, great stinks coming in here from Airwax. Knocks down Animal. That's a big pick there. One of the favorites. He's been doing incredibly well and making his way up the ladder very, very quickly here.
Demo, Bizzle, Tomo, Item, who have actually, I believe, in the top 10 as well. I think they're ranked 7, if I'm not mistaken, in the vicinity. Even here on Faxfox, Shinken, Nate, and Funk Bomb. So many players in this location. So it looks like Animal will be finished off, but Aspect's looking for the left-hand shot. They're not able to connect as, again, those stink bombs really doing some serious work here and denying a lot of positions, a lot of angles that you can fight from.
Yeah, it's pushing people out.
Don't down yourself, please.
Oh, it's pushing people out of their boxes and giving opportunities to get the damage that they want or find an opportunity to get that free rotation, that little gap to do the damage, but you know,
I respect this, by the way, out of these two boys, Airwax and Nikov, because yes, they could have chased on for that final elimination, but there's no point to, right? There's no point to get so aggressive and get caught out and put yourself in a bad situation to potentially be knocked out prior top 25. So I can respect that play. Play a little bit more passive, you know, get these more guaranteed points further on later into the round.
I 100% agree with you, Jason, and that's very rare to do. Little J 07. Cool, they've got a rift to go here. They're just picking up. Obviously, they've been supplying themselves quite well. Only the AR is kind of the missing piece here, and very limited ammo on that front as well. They've been obviously poking left, right, and center. Zaf and Safe having a bit of a skirmish with Svenos and Anzis. But they're going to dip out here at Fatal Fields. Try and go for a rotation by the looks of it.
Meantime, Scram. I think he had one of the greatest interviews yesterday when we had the solos. You could just see the energy that was going through him and how, not shocked he was, but the adrenaline coursing through his veins when he did pick up that victory.
Yeah,
him and Sakona are going to be alive for now.
Yeah, as we see the whole map here, we can see who's left in the game. Villax and Kinson actually have been doing very, very well. Actually, they're 7th currently right now, and they've been climbing the leaderboard quite well, but doing it very stealthily, as well as Mitro and Kuna.
You can see Little J able to help secure that one with Zero. They do eliminate and get eliminations on their side. Most importantly, Windwalker going to be on the high ground now as he's going to be by himself and eventually chased on. The RPG comes in, knocks him back down to the ground. Yeah, and you can just tell this is going to be so tough to get away from the traps coming in. And luckily, Little J doesn't run into that one, and they will escape. Not too much damage done to them.
That was if that was Windwalker's trap there, that was a great play, putting a trap there, giving you that little bit of edge to move across that 1-by-1 space and actually push into your opponent. I don't think he was ready for that at all, but luckily he just didn't get the damage on the shots. So, you know, Windwalker flaked out a bit, but it was still a very quick thinking play, and I respect that a lot.
Demo, Bizzle, Sky, who we haven't talked about a ton when it's come to duos. He was very prominent yesterday in the solos, having a relatively quiet game, but that's what we've kind of been saying, right? Is that solos and duos are completely different beasts, and you can have these players who do really well in solos, not be able to necessarily transition as well into duos when obviously things get way more complicated. And you have to communicate with another player and kind of try to be on that same wavelength, which is why the two Australian boys have an advantage since they're twins.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that telepathic.
Telepathy?
Yeah, telepathy. That's the one. That's the one.
I got you. That's what I'm here for. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Not a great caster, but I can help you out with words. Zexro and Vinny. Two players we definitely have to keep an eye on. And just imagine, Vinny, what, 48 hours ago, being signed to TSM, won the solo tournament within 24 hours. If they win the duo tournament as well, I think Vinny's going to be like, hey, TSM, I need a raise.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. They're going to be incredibly happy with those pickups, and they're doing so solidly right now. It's insane. And it could be back-to-back winners for TSM. And, you know, Myth and Cloud are still in the running still.
Well, as we talked about high ground, we talked about SSK7 and Jam side. They're going to be doing it yet again here as they do have themselves set up nicely inside of this safe circle with a lot of RPGs to use. I believe that was 6 left in their kit.
Interesting, we were saying this earlier on, Jason, that they always seem to be in the right spot at the right time. They're on the highest ground possible in this circle, and they're just set up perfectly for the next one too.
Just to remind you guys, they're currently ranked 4th and have not had a victory royale out of our first 5 games. So this is a team who's just been playing so well and consistently getting into those top 10 places. In the meantime, Vinny is having a lot of damage done to him. Just look at the players around him as well. We've got the 2 Australians, the X2 boys, or brothers next to them as they're just bouncing out of this one. We got towards their south. We got Mitro and Kuna there. We got Eric and Motor, who's been actually getting better, you know? They've been consistently improving over the course of the day, and that's what I like to see when it comes into these tournaments, especially these 2-day tournaments we have for this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, top 10 contenders all around in that area having to rotate, and it's a big rotation for them. They have to be careful. Hopefully they use the right items, maybe just find the right spaces to maybe do it with mats, but it's difficult, and we've got Kinstar actually getting pressured here, and he's been doing incredibly well as well.
He just pushed out actually to pick up some loot that was on the ground, so I think they got an elimination on their side. Saf has actually been dropped by Skix. Nick Merckx as well has fallen, and Mitro is going to be dropped by Zexro. So we're seeing a lot of these big dogs, a lot of these big names that we've expected to be into these top 10 positions starting to be knocked out relatively early.
Yeah, we got Item and Tomo. They've been doing consistently well throughout the day, and Zay and Saf. Big pickups there from Skits as Zay goes down, but...
Oh, Fa, we talked about him before. History was dropped when they had that 2v2 fight. He came out the victor in the 1v1. He's now out of this fight as Boyer will secure the elimination onto him. Apparently, Crippa and Boyer, they've been kind of like sneaking their way through, right? We haven't like talked about them too much, but they've been consistently and consecutively getting these good positions and, you know, eking their way into the top 10.
Yeah, there's a lot of ninjas out there right now, Jason, proving themselves. And Touch and Provoke are one of those duos teams that are complete ninjas. They've been taking these high ground retakes that are really risky, especially in the last game. And look at that. Myth and Cloud at the tippity top.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this position. We can see the Storm Surge starting to get active here. As Issa, I think that was one of the players getting some damage done to him. He's going to be knocked down. Demo's going to get credit for that one. The Myth and Cloud, I want to start seeing get some eliminations here, get some damage being done. They're above the threshold, I believe, both the players. They have a rift to go as well if they need it for the next zone. But they have the high ground at the moment, and they have a shooting spree around them.
They've got a rift to go. They're in a great position to rotate from this spot, take some damage onto their opponents, you know, laser some people as that's what they're doing as the zone moves in, but they will have to move from it pretty shortly. It just depends how they want to do it.
I want to see the battle between 7 SSK7 Jam side and Demo and Bizzle, because Demo and Bizzle over the course of the day have been very consistent at getting from low ground to high ground, taking the ultimate high ground position. And 7 SSK7 and Jam side have been actually the ones who, I think for the majority, have been able to maintain or at least lock down the control for the most part. We can see Cloud takes down Provoke there. See 7 SSK7 has been able to get elimination himself too. Skix trying to get his way through as you can see Myth get some good damage onto him as he's trying to transition across.
Yeah, he will be eliminated there. Myth and Cloud cleaning him up there. But look, some big fire coming in from Cloud, pushing in onto the Atlantis boys there. Kinzel and Vilex. Wow, good building here, but oh, whiffed it at the end.
He's got first aids though, so he's fine. He didn't lose any shield off of that one. If he can just get himself set up nicely here, he's going to be back to that full HP or at least 169 health. Marky's going to fall. 7 SSK7 actually has been incapacitated at the moment, but like the Myth and Cloud playing together here, Bizzle going to be directly below them. Vinny and Zexro more than happy to just sit here on the low ground and let this one play out. Play for those placement points.
Definitely. Vilex just sitting there, campfiring up. That could be a clue for other people around him to maybe fire a rocket, disturb him, nesting up the top there, showing he's a little bit weak.
Chat, 72 hours is alive as well here, too. You have to keep that in mind as we start to get into places. We're at 25 now, so if you do get eliminated, you are going to get some points on the board, albeit not a lot, but some is better than none. And Aiden, actually, he's still alive. He lost Nick Merckx earlier on, but he's still fighting.
That's really impressive for Aiden. Like, his late game is very, very difficult for him. His early game is incredibly strong, such a great eliminator, but now has to make the rotations along with everybody else.
All right, so Vilex and Kinzel, they're the two currently with the ultimate high ground. That most likely will be changing in the next few moments as the Storm will be moving. You can see Power using that launch pad to his advantage. Jarl, in the meantime, he's going to go for a different route as he's walking across. Livato is going to be eliminated. Yeah, we're seeing players who have been incapacitated, eventually being finished off here. Chap, actually on the bottom of the mountain, might start losing some HP too, as a lot of damage being done. Power has actually been able to take the high ground himself here in the meantime, as he's lost Jarl. 72 Hours is now out of the fight. Kinstar's now out of the fight. Svenos is out of the fight. Constantly, players are being eliminated here left and right.
Oh my, how is this happening so quickly? What's going on out there? People are just going down, but things are just so hectic that you just can't keep up with all the action, Jason.
You have to find some sort of semblance here in this chaos, to find some sort of route to fight your way out of it here if you want to get out of those darkest holes and into the bright limelight of a victory royale. Vinny, he's going to be alive with Zaxtro as well. Tomo, again, one of those ninjas we've been talking about. Him and Item have been doing fairly well as Kinzel. X8 going to be dropped on the low ground here. Bizzle trying to get his way across here. The X2 boy is going to be popping a rift, getting up high in the air.
Can Boya and Cripper get it? I don't think they can. They were down there for it, but I don't think they can squeeze in. I think they're going to have to find out the hard way how to get out of this circle, and it's going to be very difficult for them.
You can see the control they have of a lot of these walls for Zextro and Vinny, so this is really easy for them to rotate through. As you can see them trying to maintain high ground control. A lot of materials, a lot of builds left to go for themselves. Razaru to take down Kaiser Myths, eventually going to be dropped here by Jamside. And the high ground, it's now in the favor of the Aussies.
It's about time, Jason. It's about time. But Power has found an entrance there at the back. Have to be a little bit more defensive here. But he's going to actually give it up. He's going to go mid-ground instead. Maybe he's out of mats there, Power. But he had an opportunity to really disrupt the Australians. Item squeezing down on the low ground.
Squeaky bum moment for him as he has no HP here towards a very low ground. The Australians on the high ground with Jesse with 7 eliminations and the dream here. 10 players left alive. This is 100 points if they can pick the victory royale, but there's going to be more than that, especially if they're able to get any more eliminations on top. That Cloud is still fighting for him, and Vinny going to be in there with Zexor as well, so we still have that duo left alive. Bizzle takes down Isma, and Tux somehow, another Ninja player, has been able to actually just sneak his way through here unharmed.
Yep, he's just going to have to play that low ground game, play it safe as much as he possible can. Wiggle his way through that crazy maze that is now built underneath him. But he's in a bad position here. He's getting attacked every side of him. And now he manages to pick up Cloud.
It's getting rough here. You can see the Australian boys be fighting up against Vinny and Zexor, who's trying to battle out for who has the ultimate high ground, trying to shoot down, rain down damage from above. 5 players left to go here. As now Bizzle's going to be dropped. Zextro is going to get that elimination. Jesse's still on 7 limbs. Hasn't been able to take it to the next level just yet, but he has that big game under his belt already. And now with 4 left to go, it comes down to a 2-on-1 technically, because Vinny is down. I think they know this. I think they're going to try to rush into this one. Zextro has no chance of picking Vinny up. So can Zextro pull off the 1v2, or the Australians take here their first victory royale?
It's going to be really interesting to see if they're just going to waste the time here, just play for the circle, get the rotations. But, you know, I don't think they want to play too aggressive in this situation, Jason. They want to play it nice and cool. But, ooh, we've got some medkits coming out here for Zextro at the bottom, but this is huge for him. Obviously, hot contender already in first place.
Zextro, he's out of the storm. He's taking some damage. He's trying to take higher ground. He's trying to get around them. He's trying to somehow pull off this 1v2. And as we can see, it's not working out too well for them here. He's down on very low HP. And I think the Australians have done it. Renegades, Jesse and Jordan have been able to take their first victory royale and put Australia on the map.
It's about time, Jason. It's about time that these guys got their synergy together. And it's great to see them coming out on top. And Jesse, what a carry
8
there.
eliminations. That's insane.
So insane. They were a little bit lucky towards the late game. There was an opportunity for Power to knock them down, but he bottled out. He knew that it was too much of a tough situation to attempt. So dives down, Jesse, and then...
Jordan, yeah, they're able to just really come together at the right moment. especially there at the end. Having that 2v1, those are situations that you should not lose. If you're a pro player, if you're at the top of your game, you should never lose the 2v1s.
Finally, we see it. We've been waiting for it all day. We've been waiting for the X2 Twins to perform like that. That's what we wanted to see from them. That's what we expected. And I'm sure the Oceania region right now is celebrating in the Twitch chat. I'm sure that they're absolutely loving it. Congratulations to Jesse and Jordan on a huge victory royale there. But 8 eliminations as well coming in from Jesse. He took that game by the scruff of the neck.
He did. I think it's like if you give him that control, I think obviously Jordan was doing some help too. Let's not count him out just because there was a 0. Just because there was a goose egg next to him doesn't mean he wasn't helping. And they were working well together as a team. Yeah, the eliminations went towards Jesse, but they played so well together. And the thing is, like, I think there's a lot of pride on the line for them, not only being from Australia, but they have a brother team, sister team here competing in one of the tournaments at the Intel Extreme Masters. And obviously they were here rooting them on as well, and finally being able to live up to that has to feel great.
Oh, definitely. It feels fantastic. I'm sure that they're going to be having a party back at the hotel about it as well.
Well, hopefully not, because they have to play tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. I do forget that.
But I'll tell you what, let's ask them. Let's see what they're going to do after that victory royale. I believe that Adam is down on the floor with our Australian duo winners from the last game.
I certainly am, buddy. Thank you very much there. I am joined by the X2 Twins, Game 6 winners. Guys, amazing performance there. Jesse, I'll come to you. 8 eliminations. Is Jordan riding your coattails right now, or what?
Nah, yeah, I mean, he's IGL, so he does a lot of work like behind the scenes, yeah.
You guys are performing brilliantly. I mean, walk us through the end game there. Walk us through the actual game itself. How did it feel to play in that moment?
Yeah, that was so much fun. We changed up our drop spot, and Jesse just popped off, dude. I was just following him the whole game. He was going off.
I mean, when you're in those situations as well, where you have all those players being squeezed into the final circle, does mindset change at all? The strategy keeps it exactly the same? How do you guys play together? How do you work things out?
We do it game by game, but that game we had enough loot from all the kills, so we decided to dive for height. It worked out, so yeah.
We saw there at the end game as well, Vinny and Zexro again are making it to the final circle. When you guys know you're up against those guys, you have to take it to another level to make sure you get the victory, or what?
Yeah, they're killing it right now. They're super consistent, and yeah, they're playing so well.
I mean, you guys have earned some serious points as well here. A victory royale in Game 6. Great points there from the eliminations. You must be really pleased with how the day is coming to a close. I bet you can't wait to get back here tomorrow as well.
Yeah, for sure. We had a bad stroke of luck at the start, but this is a good relief.
Well, congratulations. Our Game 6 winners, guys. The X2 Twins! Congratulations, dudes. Best of luck with the rest of the competition. Mark, back to you guys. What a great performance that was.
Fantastic stuff from those two gentlemen. And they started off with my favorite Aussie saying of all, which is, yeah, nah. which I just love hearing it. Huge performance from those. But we need to talk about the two players. They also mentioned in that interview, Vinny and Zexro, again getting points on the board, Zacubus.
Oh, they're just stacking those points up. I'd be very interested to see what else is happening with Zaf and Zate at the moment, because things are, they're heating up right now.
And that's around a 90-point lead 91, now. Yeah. They could potentially take into tomorrow, depending on how our final game of the day goes. That's a huge gap.
You need, like, a victory royale and 7 eliminations to actually close that distance and hope that they get knocked out of top 25 with 0 elims. That's how big of a lead they have. But as we saw, the two Aussies have not even been able to crack the top 10 just yet. And that kind of shows they've been unable to really do well earlier on, but maybe that was a spark they needed to really get things going.
I think that's a great point, and obviously that's just going to breed confidence through them. Maybe, we can't speak for them, but it might be a case of, they put too much expectations on themselves coming into this tournament. They've had to sort of relax a bit, get into the flow of things, and now that they've got that victory royale, then hopefully they're going to pick up a little bit more momentum.
So if they're at 125 points, that means they had 20 points before that match, if I'm not mistaken, if I can do math correctly. So that means they...
Don't look at me for math.
Yeah,
no help.
Guys, help me out. But that just shows like the kind of performance they have, but not necessarily because they've been playing bad, but because that's the caliber of players we have here at this tournament. You can have the best players in the world still not be able to do as well when you're competing against everyone who's on an equal level.
I love to see those guys switch up. Obviously, the home ground was Yonder's Yard, and they told me beforehand, before this whole event started, that they never lose it. Never, but obviously the competition is kicking up.
That's a ballsy thing to say. Never lose it.
It is indeed, and the competition is certainly hotting up. Gentlemen, fantastic stuff. As always, it's time for our final break of the day now. When we get back, we've got our final game of the day, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be a doozy.